Hello, welcome to McDowell's Strategy and Tactics, and thank you to our subscribers. In this series, we play through each of the battles in the American Grand Campaign in Close Combat 4, the Battle of the Bulge. We use historical World War II US Army doctrine to plan and conduct each battle. We start on the strategic map. It is 0800 hours on December 21, 1944, and the weather is overcast. Artillery has been allocated, with 2 fire missions in reserve for the afternoon. There is no air support and no supply drops. In the last episode, the US 422nd Regimental Combat Team of 106th Division fought the German Kampfgruppe Stefan from the 2nd Panzer Division at Losheim. The result was a total American victory, and the German Kampfgruppe was forced to disband. The next battle is at Houffalize between the US 9th Armoured Division and the German Kampfgruppe von Poschinger from the Lehr Division. Commander, Houffalize must be held. It is of strategic importance as it is one of only a few maps that allows passage through the Ardennes. Hold as many key road locations as possible to stop the German advance. The steeples in the centre of the map are good locations for bazooka teams so that they can take out German tanks as they approach the bridges. On the US side is an American armoured battle group from the 9th Armoured Division under command of Captain Morris. It moves fast and reserves are full. The company consists of 3 platoons. First platoon is a tank platoon, second platoon is an infantry platoon, and third platoon is a support platoon with 3 tanks and 2 half-tracks. The original squads from the last battle retain their names and statistics. Let's rename the new squads off camera. Now let's review each of the squads. 3-1 is 3rd Platoon Headquarters. 2-1 is 2nd Platoon Headquarters. 2-2 is a rifle squad. 1-4 is an M4 Sherman 75mm. 1-3 is also an M4 Sherman 75mm. 3-3 is an M5 Stuart 37mm. 3-2 is also an M5 Stuart 37mm. 3-5 is an M21 81mm mortar motor carriage. 3-4 is an M3 heavy machine gun half-track. 2-5 is a Browning 30 caliber medium machine gun. 2-4 is an M9 bazooka team. 1-1 is 1st Platoon Headquarters. 1-2 is an M4 Sherman 75mm. 1-5 is an M7 Priest 105mm. And 2-3 is a rifle squad. Next, let's look at the map and conduct a commander's estimate of the situation. Our mission is to defend Houffalize. Houffalize is a town in Belgium that has grown around the confluence of a crossroads, the Urthe River, and a number of sturdy stone bridges. The town, known in German as Hohenfels, is nestled in a wooded valley. The Rue Sainte-Anne leads northeast to Saint-Vite. The Rue de Baston leads east past the millhouse, the Moulin-le-Maire, to Neuville. The Rue Saint-Roch leads south to Orthoville. The Rue de Libermont leads southwest to Barraque de Fature. The Rue de la Roche leads west to La Roche. And the Rue de Liège winds around the Urthe River and leads north to Vielsalm. There are 2 prominent churches in the town, each with a tall steeple, the Église Sainte-Catherine in the north, and a smaller church overlooking East and West Bridge and looking down the Rue de Baston in the south. This is what Houffalize looks like today. The terrain, trees, and buildings disrupt observation and lines of fire across the area. There are some keyholes for observation, and the two steeples provide good overwatch over the town and surrounds. Similarly, there is plenty of cover in and behind the buildings. And the buildings and woods provide ample concealment, particularly for infantry, but also for tanks hiding behind buildings. The frozen Ourthe River is a minor obstacle likely only to slow down troops and vehicles. The woods present a major obstacle to vehicle movement. And the town itself is the most prominent obstacle in the area, with many buildings overlooking the approaches to the bridges. Key terrain is each of the roads leading to Houffalize, as these provide the opportunity for reinforcement and manoeuvre. The church to the south and the area between west and east bridges is decisive terrain, as this location controls all approaches to and movement through the crossroads. The obvious avenues of approach are along the roads and across the open fields, and the woods provide good infiltration opportunities for infantry to get close to the town without being observed. We are expecting the Lehr Division, the German tank training formation, to push forward an armoured Kampfgruppe consisting of numerous Panzers and Sonderkraftfahrzeug with some infantry in support. The Germans could aim to capture the town and bridges. The Germans have once again come from Saint-Vith to the northeast and have deployed along the Rue Sainte-Anne. In other words, they have seized the high ground the Americans used to such great effect in the first battle in this area. As such, the Germans could seize the remainder of the high ground north of the town. Tactically, it could be a good location for a support fire line, able to cover the entire town with suppressing tank cannon and machine gun fire. The Germans could then push west to capture the buildings along the Rue de Liège, leading north to Vilsam, where the bridge crosses the Ourthe River. From there, the half-tracks could provide local covering fire while the infantry follow the dead ground in the creek bed and move on the bridges along the Rue de la Roche from the north. The killing zone would be the open fields leading to the high ground support fire line position. The Germans could alternatively go straight down the road into Houffalize. The Panzers could form a support fire line on the high ground, suppressing American defensive positions in the town with tank cannon and machine gun fire. This could allow supporting infantry to infiltrate the town from the northeast, concealed from observation by the woods. The infantry could take one building at a time using local fire superiority and the covering fire from the support fire line to overwhelm each defensive position in turn. The killing zone would be open ground along the Rue Sainte-Anne leading into the centre of Houffalize. One option for the Americans is a long-range tank duel, using dispersed forces and concentrated fires into a fire sack. The tanks of 1st Platoon would occupy an attack-by-fire position southwest of Houffalize, putting frontal fire up the length of the Rue Sainte-Anne. 3rd Platoon's tanks would take the high ground west of the Rue de Liège and target the fire sack from a flank. The infantry of 2nd Platoon would occupy the buildings in Houffalize in an open 2-up, 1-in-depth formation. The medium machine gun would set up in the Église Sainte-Catherine, covering the Rue Sainte-Anne bridge, and the bazooka would set up in the steeple of the church to the south, covering the bridge and up the road. Whichever way the Germans turned, they would be met with concentrated frontal and flanking fire. The other option is to continue the hammer and anvil attack from the last battle, but this time capture Le Rue Sainte-Anne. The tanks of 3rd Platoon would set up in the open ground southeast of the Ourthe River to get flanking shots on Panzers advancing down the Rue Sainte-Anne towards Houffalize. Once the Panzers were destroyed, the tanks could advance to recapture the road. The tanks would be the hammer. The infantry of 2nd Platoon would occupy the buildings in Houffalize in an open 2-up, 1-in-depth formation. Once again, the medium machine gun would set up in the Église Sainte-Catherine, covering the Rue Sainte-Anne bridge, and the bazooka would set up in the steeple of the church to the south, ready to put a crossfire on the bridge. The infantry would be the anvil. And the tanks of 1st Platoon would occupy the ridge east of the Rue de Liège. They would refuse any attack in this direction with a wall of tank fire and be available as a counter-attack force. While defensive, this plan would allow the Americans the chance to counter-attack if possible. I have made my decision and have placed the platoons and squads in position. 1st Platoon in the open ground east of the Rue de Liège, leading to Vielsalm. Second Platoon in the town, in locations with good lines of fire on likely approaches. The bazooka in one steeple. The medium machine gun in the other. And 3rd Platoon in the open ground southeast of the Earthe River, near the bridge to Neuville and covering the Rue Sainte-Anne. With the heavy machine gun half-track as a counter-penetration force, and the 81mm mortar motor carriage in depth. And so we begin. Panther tank, and Sonderkofferzeug, and infantry. A second Panther to the east, in the trees. The command Sherman is knocked out. No line of fire to the Panther.
We're under heavy fire!
The Panther in the woods knocks out Jacobson's M5 Stuart tank.
We surrender!
Allen in the medium machine gun team surrenders. The M3 heavy machine gun half-track moves up to counter the infantry penetration near the Église Sainte-Catherine. Bayer's rifle squad opens up on the German infantry from the flank. The infantry are a Zugführergruppe, platoon headquarters. 36 rounds of smoke remaining. The mortar is laying a smoke screen to blind the Panther. First Platoon advances.
Feldwebel!
The Zugführergruppe is eliminated. The Kommandowagen Sonderkofferzeug 251 has also been destroyed. 2 German platoon leaders down.
In position.
Maddox's Sherman has a flanking shot on the Panther.
Move complete.
René's 105mm fires the winning shot
Sir, the enemy has offered a ceasefire.
and destroys the Panther G 7.5cm. The Germans have offered a ceasefire. I do not intend to accept anything less than unconditional surrender. But this indicates the Germans are not able to attack. The initiative is now with the Americans. First Platoon advances as Bayer's rifle squad clears the buildings outside the town.
Move completed.
Kilgore's rifle squad now looks for enemy infantry. Partridge's M5 Stuart light tank advances cautiously. A crossfire on German infantry near the 2-story building.
Team
Geht in
redeployed.
Deckung!
Move completed. Team redeployed. In position.
The M21 81mm mortar motor carriage opens a fire mission on a German machine gun position. Kilgore's squad joins in, and Partridge's Stuart tank. Juarez and 3rd Platoon's Headquarters Sherman also advances. Moreno's half-track pushes forward. The German infantry are crossing the Sainte-Anne Bridge. Hurst orders 2nd Platoon Headquarters in depth to fire at them. Second Platoon Headquarters eliminates the German Schützen squad. Another Panther east of the Rue Sainte-Anne, as Bayer's squad clears the outskirts of the town. Partridge advances. The German machine gun position is eliminated. The battlefield goes silent. There are still 2 Panthers in the woods east of the Rue Sainte-Anne. Hurst now pushes platoon headquarters forward. And Bayer swings his squad around to the west to prepare to assault the woods. They will clear the woods up to the Rue Sainte-Anne. Meanwhile, Kilgore will conduct a pincer manoeuvre to clear the woods to the east and put pressure on the Germans. With 3 German infantry squads destroyed, there may be 1 or 2 squads still remaining in the rear of the German position. Hurst and 2nd Platoon headquarters move up to the 2-storey building. The Germans have earlier put Panzerschreck teams in the woods to engage tanks as they advance. As Bayer's infantry squad advances, the tanks of 1st Platoon will put suppressing fire on the woods. The Germans have again requested a truce. They are just buying time. I will only accept their unconditional surrender. Suppressing fire. Partridge moves up. Suppression over. The mortar shifts fire. German infantry. First platoon advances.
Team redeployed. In position. Fight. Team redeployed. Completed.
The Panther to the east is in a poor firing position, but it is still a threat. Blinding smoke mission. Bayer's squad advances to capture the road. The other Panther to the east. Kilgore's squad withdraws.
Team redeployed.
More blinding smoke. Bayer's squad takes the objective and a casualty. Rene's 105mm howitzer is hit and destroyed.
Sergeant! heavy fire!
The squad throws smoke.
We're busy!
Total American victory. The battle ended because all victory locations were taken. The Americans gained control of the map and the German battle group was forced to disband. The Americans won the battle because they control a greater number of crucial victory locations than the Germans. The Americans lost 2 killed, 10 wounded, 1 prisoner, and 3 tanks. The Germans lost 9 killed, 16 wounded, 1 tank destroyed and 2 damaged, and 1 armoured vehicle destroyed. Let's examine the American squads. Fisher is killed and Owensby seriously wounded in Browning's Sherman. Orbison in Park's Sherman is credited with an armoured car kill, the Kommandowagen Sonderkraftfahrzeug 251. Hendricks and Pickrell in the 105mm share credit for a tank kill, the Panther G. Pickrell is seriously wounded by a shell from another Panther that knocked out the howitzer. Halvorsen in 2nd Platoon's rifle squad was killed in the woods to the east. Bayer, Scott and Sanders in 2nd Platoon's other rifle squad were seriously wounded by tank fire moments after taking the Rue Sainte-Anne objective. Second Platoon's medium machine gun squad was destroyed and Allen surrendered. Jacobson, Talbot and Johnson in the M5 Stuart light tank were seriously wounded by tank fire from the Panther to the east. So far, the campaign remains a major American victory. The Grant campaign has 11 days remaining. Your defence of the Ardennes is progressing better than your historical counterparts. I'm hoping the Germans have now been cleared from Houffalize. But there may be cut-off remnants in the woods to the northeast of the town. We will see in the afternoon. Over the campaign, cumulative American losses are 381 killed in action, 390 wounded in action, 44 tanks, 5 vehicles, and 18 guns. Cumulative German losses are 959 killed, 911 wounded, 136 tanks, 139 armoured vehicles, and 1 anti-tank gun. So, what did we learn? I was right to avoid a long-range tank duel. Tanks generally bring fire, movement, and shock action to battle. The constraints of the terrain northeast of Houffalize robbed the German panzers of their movement and shock action. But they still had firepower. Every chance they got, the Panzers lashed out and struck, with devastating effect. The Command Sherman, the Stuart tank, and the 105mm self-propelled howitzer. If the American tanks had engaged in a long-range tank duel, they would have been mercilessly picked off, one by the superior tank cannon of the Panther tanks. Instead, concentrating American fire was the right course of action. This concentrated fire destroyed the Panther and Sonderkraftfahrzeug in the opening minutes of battle, and was amply demonstrated by the suppressing fire they brought to bear just before Bayer's rifle squad assaulted the woods. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and donate. And stay tuned for the next episode.